Hi, good afternoon. My name is Nelson Chen, and this is my EDAD 610 video journal number 3 on building capacity. I felt that this chapter was very powerful in reminding myself, as well as probably my colleagues when I go talk to them, um, what it takes to be an effective leader, instructional leader, as well as a political leader at the high school level. Many of the evidence and facts that was provided in the chapter I see all the time through my principal. I think he's a great example of what a instructional leader is, as well as an effective community leader as well, in being able to encompass so many different components to create a positive culture for the city of Walnut and Walnut High School. I felt that the chapter did a very good job in providing several evidence. For example, that new principals who establish a cohesive staff is more successful in staying at the school, as well as seeing student achievement. It also mentions that 20% of new principals fail within the first and second year and have a tendency of leaving or feeling forced out because they came in with the right intentions, but with a narrow scope and only seeing maybe their personal agenda, or the only way that they saw would raise student achievement, not really getting to know their staff as well as their teacher and building that cohesive unit. I also believe that my principal does a great job in creating a nurturing environment for our young and veteran teachers, really being proactive and finding their interest and seeing what their personal goals are as well as professional goals. Um, he does a very good job in sustaining a culture of collaboration, trust, learning, as well as making sure that we have high expectations at the school. Kaplan also introduces that when teachers use rigorous, relevant, and coherent curriculum, effective instructional delivery, and in-time classroom management, we also see an increase in student achievement. So what are some of the obstacles that principals face when you have potentially a disconnect, or you have obstacles within your unit, within your staff, within your teachers? There's something called psychological contracts, and it's very important for principals to be aware that their point of view or their perspective isn't potentially the only right way of doing things. And so making sure that you meet and you understand your teachers, support your teachers, understanding their background and their personal experiences, where they've come from, can definitely help build that cohesiveness and that trusting relationship between a principal and between an administrator and a teacher. Some examples that Kaplan and Owen gives in their textbook on what psychological contracts are: you have things that are based on belief or perception, being implicit and not explicit, what's perceived and what's not actual, based on exchange or what's reciprocated, and then ongoing and elevating, or evolving, I'm sorry. So what's important is understanding when admin comes with their personal agenda and not having an open mind. You can break these psychological contracts that teachers and staff may have about certain topics or certain issues or concerns that admin brings about. And because of that, if there is a broken trust, is there a broken contract, what Kaplan says, a psychological contract, teachers may give less time in the classroom, less energy, less commitment. And, their specialty is understanding and mastering their content and classroom management and influencing and inspiring the students that they see on a daily basis. And so when you have admin that comes in not really knowing, what to evaluate and give their subjective opinion without really knowing who the teacher is, it could really be very hurtful and very detrimental to not just the relationship between the admin and the teacher, but the overall student achievement because of now the lack of motivation and encouragement that the teacher feels from admin support. So to avoid potential disconnect or breaking of psychological contracts with those that are extremely important in building a school culture that's very positive for the students and seeing student achievement. Um, you want to make sure that we understand and we listen to our teachers, that we find out what their goals, their passion, what their motivation is, and seeing how admin can align their goals and with our school mission and vision, and making sure that ultimately we have one goal in mind and moving forward. It's very important for admin to listen carefully, to ask a lot of questions to the teachers authentically and genuinely, not as meeting a requirement by um, the district in completing evaluations, but genuinely getting into the classrooms, doing your observations, meeting with the teachers and staff, building a relationship in that's trusting and honest, finding out what their personal and professional goals are, seeing how we could support them in meeting those goals, whether it's through professional development, whether it's through resources, whether it's lobbying for them, continuing to build a trust and respect factor between them, having transparent communication, giving them a platform, having an open door policy where teachers and staff can meet with you, and being accessible and being transparent and being visible. And of course, ensuring teachers' growth and leadership and respect and having that open exchange.